You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Record-breaking batting effort hasn't been enough to prevent a fourth straight loss for New Zealand at the Cricket World Cup in India. The Black Caps have suffered a Duckworth-Lewis method loss to Pakistan in their latest match. They made 400 and 1 for 6. Their highest ever World Cup score. Pakistan got to 200 for 1 in 25 and a bit overs before rain brought an end to the contest. But the Black Caps remain fourth. They'll qualify for the semis if they beat Sri Lanka at the same venue on Thursday. New Zealand Herald cricket writer and long-time observer of the game, Andrew Alderson, is with us. Alders, apparently 401 isn't enough to win cricket matches these days.
Well, that's right, and it was a delayed spectacle, of course, with those thunderstorms in Bengaluru coming across eventually to curtail the contest. But, I think people who may have gone to bed thinking, oh, well, all sorted, 401 for 6, New Zealand guaranteeing their place through to the semi-finals. As you say, not enough, and well, mainly thanks to that incredible knock from Fakhar Zaman, 126 from 81 balls, backed up with Babar Azam, his 66 off 63, and they just kept the tempo going. You think about that as an incredible tempo, Piney, if you like, in those conditions, the pressure on Fakhar, and I know there's been other centuries that have been faster in the tournament, but not in the second innings with the chase up against it. So, that was the situation. I mean, New Zealand, plenty of things to smile about in a way, with Williamson coming back into the reckoning, 95 of 79 balls, but particularly Rachin Ravindra, the first New Zealander to make 3 World Cup centuries, going on to 108 of 94 balls. But I think in the wider context of seeing the next generation of New Zealand cricketers coming through with Ravindra leading the way, but New Zealand's bowling display, in contrast, they've really struggled. I mean, those performances, conceding so many against South Africa, also against Australia as well, it's been a struggle.
All right, I want to talk about both of the points you've raised there. We'll leave the bowling to one side for a moment, but Rachin Ravindra, first New Zealand player to score 300s in a World Cup, 520-odd runs at an average of 74. He strikes at 107 in the 50-over format. Are we looking at a player here, Aldous, who might feature in all three forms for New Zealand for a decade or more?
Oh, I think so. And in fact, he's 23 years old, and there's so few of that New Zealand side. I think before the tournament, just from memory, 11 of the team of the 15 were 30 or over in that New Zealand squad. That will have changed with Kyle Jamieson coming to the mix for Matt Henry. But Ravindra, far and away the youngest, and just the fact that he's been able to step up in these circumstances, has seized his opportunity and just looks so composed at that level against that level of bowling. And doing it, of all the places you can choose to do it, I guess, mark out your career, India is the one. I know he has links to India over the years, but I would have thought when that IPL auction comes up as well, Piney, in time, he's going to be among the picks of the New Zealanders involved from next year and for a fair way on after that.
What impresses you most about the way he goes about things batting-wise?
Oh, I think it's composure. I think it's crisp striking of the ball. He seems to be able to play all around the clock as well. He just doesn't seem daunted, doesn't seem fazed by the pressure of opening and playing at number 3 as he has done across the World Cup. And just that level of maturity. So really he seems to be a relatively modest character. He fits the bill for the image that the Black Caps are trying to portray in the world of cricket. And I think he just fits right into that environment. And I just love the way he's gone about it. And I just think that with what he's been able to achieve so far, he's clearly come to the attention of a number of people. You hear about from the commentary box, I guess, waxing lyrical about those abilities, but it really has been a phenomenon.
All right, well, let's talk about the bowling then, because when you lose after scoring 401, even in a Duckworth-Lewis situation, you look at the scorecard and the Black Caps have gone for close to 8 and over in the 25 and a bit overs that were possible. Does this feel like a World Cup winning bowling unit to you?
No, not at the moment, it doesn't, and it's not helped by the fact that now Matt Henry out of the tournament with that hamstring strain. Kyle Jamieson coming into the mix. Lockie Ferguson still has that Achilles problem. That's hampered the issue as well. Trent Bolt has bowled well at moments or times across the tournament. Last night was not one of those. Ish Sodhi getting his first opportunity and not really seizing that. He just struggled a bit, Ish Sodhi, in one of those crucial overs too towards the end where he conceded 20 runs with Zaman really in full flow, and that was getting up that sort of tipped Pakistan across the threshold, if you like, to be ahead of Duckworth-Lewis because it was a bit of a touch-and-go situation. He just struggled for rhythm, I thought, and was maybe perhaps a bit fearful of Zaman taking him through the leg side, went to the offside again, Zaman up for the task. So, that was a struggle. Santner's bowled well throughout, I think, for the most part across the tournament. Phillips has his moments as well, but there just seems to be a bit of a struggle there. But I think, in fairness to the Black Caps, a lot of teams have struggled with their bowling when scores have been up, 7, 8 runs and over, all these scores over 350, etc. The wickets have been made for batters, and that must be a fairly intimidating prospect.
So the equation then is fairly simple. If the task isn't, or it might be, beat Sri Lanka in the final round-robin game, and that should secure New Zealand's passage through to the semi-finals. That game's on Thursday night, New Zealand time, at the same venue. Sri Lanka have been pretty underwhelming at this tournament, bowled out for 55 the other day by India, who'd just posted 357 for 8. We should beat Sri Lanka, shouldn't we?
In theory, yes. Having observed that match the other night, I would have said almost certainly. Given the way New Zealand have competed in almost every game, given that I know they've lost the 4 in a row now, but the only really significant, dominant loss was the one with South Africa dominating them. But I think the way that Sri Lanka have been playing, New Zealand could expect to win that. You've already got India through. You've got that match tonight, India-South Africa, which should be a humdinger. Australia beating England as well to push their case through. So it's going to come down to New Zealand, Pakistan or Afghanistan on those 8 points. So I think, incredibly, New Zealand probably still in a reasonably confident position, given that they start to the tournament, even though they have lost those 4 in a row, that they can make another semi-final at the 50-over World Cup. Thanks, Alders. Appreciate your expertise as always. Andrew Alderson joining us there.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.